G'day everyone, Scott here from One Green Thumb Gardening in Toowoomba. Today I just want to talk about using Ego's domestic range for small businesses. I'm just going to give you a bit of a quick background. So I started in 2018 into the lawn care gardening business. At that point I just had the lawnmower from home, a still whippersnipper and a still blower and a little trailer. And my first hedge trimmer, first piece of battery equipment that I purchased was this Ego Power Head. So there's the date on it still, 2017. So I bought that guy in 2018. It has died probably 6 weeks ago. Finally, the electronics in it have shit itself. So I've had a phenomenal run out of that one, and I've flogged the living guts out of that one. I actually wore the gearbox that goes in there. There was no teeth left in it, so I have replaced the gearbox in that one. This one, I don't know what happened, but it decided to die, and it was only 2 years old. So I can buy new electronics for it and try and fix it, but I opted to buy the PH1420, which is the upgraded version, and it has been really nice. Now, next thing, I should have put this at the bloody start. When you buy your Power Head, spend $1,800 off the bat. I know it's a shitload of money, but you're going to save yourself $1,000 off the bat, because you're going to get your whippersnipper head, your hedge trimmer head, your Ego edger. Now I've put a 4-blade on because I just like it. Will also come with your chainsaw attachment, which surprisingly how much you're going to use your chainsaw attachment just for a random branch on a job. Phenomenal. Things cleaner. Sorry if I'm a bit scattered, my brain's a bit dead, but I really want to get this video done for Matt, who asked the question about the domestic range for gardening. And so I've used domestic range for now 7 years, and I could not be any more happy with the range. The product is sensational. It has finally taken 7 years for them to get the mower to a standard which I am happy with. But the new latest 55 centimeter composite deck is sensational, and I wouldn't go down the commercial lawnmower because it's way too heavy for me. But I just want to show you my set. Before we go into showing you my setup, what I wanted to do was what makes the battery equipment better than petrol, because if you're trying to work out, do I go down the petrol range, or whether I stay on the petrol range, or whether I take that leap of faith and go down the battery, the biggest thing you need to understand is the cost of batteries are a killer. When you first start out, you've got, like, let's say the blower runs for 30 minutes on a 5-amp battery. So you're going to need a shit ton of batteries to run a blower all day. Or a whippersnipper, you're going to need 4 7.5 amps to get 8 hours worth of juice out of it. So batteries are expensive. What you're going to do is buy kits with a battery, and especially if you can do it at battery redemption time, and spend that little bit extra and buy the battery redemption. So I just bought the mower, blower, and a battery, and I got a free 12-amp and a free blower, which I didn't realize, but anyway, that was the way I went. But yeah, buying it in kits, definitely always buy it with a battery. The performance from the domestic range from Ego has been sensational. I've put the Ego Power Head with the whippersnipper attachment to the test with Still, Bush Ranger, and Palic, I think, another battery operated one. So there's no comparison going down the Still battery range. Ego just is by superiorly better than steel, except for their chainsaw, which we'll talk about. But performance, I've flogged the living guts out of all my stuff, and it definitely holds up to the abuse that I give it. What I also love about going battery is the quick change. If something runs out of fuel, you just smack another battery in and it's super quick and easy. I love not having to go to a petrol station. I love not having to deal with fuel and oil mixtures and ratios and spark plugs and oil changes and all that crap. I hate sitting there trying to get something started for half an hour and it doesn't work. That has been sensational. The noise, absolutely love. The quietness of all the battery operated. It's funny when you get to a job site and the people next door have got their whippersnippers and hedge trimmers and mowers going, and you're like, wow, I need earmuffs, and they're over there next door. And of course the vibration in your arms and stuff, it has been sensational. And also the ability to work in commercial areas or even like aged home facilities. You can come in, and half the time I've done a job and the customer's like, oh, have you been here? And I'm like, yeah, we're done. And they're like, oh wow. Anyway, or like pubs, you get to go to a pub and people are having dinner and you can still mow the lawn, still do the hedges, and no one can hear you. Commercial office buildings, people are in there working and you're out there doing your job, and they come out and they go, oh wow, it is so nice to be able to work without the sound of a petrol motor just boring in their ear for 3 hours. So that has been sensational, and you do pick up quality commercial complexes. I don't personally do that because it's not our thing, but there is other guys out there that do focus on the battery operator for commercial for that reason. Now when you buy battery, you've got to remember that you're paying for 1 year's worth of fuel straight up front. So let's say you buy a 5 amp battery and it's $350. Am I going to get $350 worth of fuel out of that battery for the year? Well, not just battery, sorry, fuel. Services, spark plugs, all that crap that goes with it. To me personally, yes, I do. I've got 20 grand's worth of batteries over 7 years. Some die, some don't. But there's no way I'd go down petrol range. So I just wanted to show you my setup. Now, I personally think that the multi-tool is by far better cost-wise. So let's go cost-wise. Your power head, you've got your whippersnippers, you've got your brush cutters, you've got chainsaw attachments on the other side. I'll show you. Edger, bristle brush, rotary tiller, scissors. All of that runs off one head rather than buying straight shaft whippersnipper, straight shaft hedger, straight shaft edger. You don't need all that stuff. So and just the space, like I can put all my stuff on this side. We run as a team of 3. So there's always me and my main employee, Ben. And when we do hedges, we'll have 2 very good ones. So basically brand new. For that fine detail topiary, and then we'll also have our rough as guts, flog the living shit out of stuff. Okay, so we always have 1 each of that. I always change I prefer the speed feed heads over the Ego brand. That's my personal opinion. I just find them easier, and in the early days it was cheaper to replace the speed feed head or cover for $16 than it was to buy the whole Ego thing for $55. So that was one of the first reasons why I went to the speed feed head. I don't use these. These are my wife's. Again, a good one and a shit one, because you've got good hedges and you've got bad hedges. We've got 4 blowers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, personally, out of all the blowers, the 1100 is by far my favorite to use. I find it's got just as much power as the 1300. just as much power and just as good. So for the extra $100, I don't see the difference of spending the extra 100 to go that one. And we always use 2 blowers. Every time, it's always 2 blowers. So this one, the old school one, which you'll probably get as a redemption, they are sensational to have in your non-main hand. So I'm right-handed, so I love this in my left hand. I can set the speed to what I want, and then away I go. And then if I need turbo, I can use turbo. But otherwise, you're trying to navigate the buttons, and I can't manage that two-handed. Also in my kit, always carry chargers, so that way whilst I'm on the job, especially when you're starting out, and you only have 4 batteries, you need 4 batteries to start out. So then whilst you're on the job and one dies, plug it into the customer's power and charge it up. I've never yet had a customer say, "What are you doing charging your batteries on my electricity?" If that's the case with the customer, you don't want them. So chargers, and whenever you've got your battery charger, sit your car keys with it, because I can tell you what, there's nothing worse than getting all the way across town and you go, "Oh shit, my battery and charger's all the way over at John's." So I always leave my car keys with the battery and the charger. I have 2 of them there going. So generally you'll get an hour to an hour and a half out of most batteries, depending on the application. So in that time of the next job, you can generally recharge your batteries at the job. So you can just keep going. And then as time progresses and you buy more tools, you acquire more batteries. Now, we did try to set up for a team of 5 3 years ago. Hence why I also have a fair bit of equipment and batteries, because we tried to do the setup, and anyway, we've got a lot. So there's 7 years worth of acquisition of Ego power tools that we've been running. Now, the backpacks I absolutely love, but Ego hasn't fixed the bloody nozzle here. And there's a few other reasons why I've modified our backpacks. Number 1 is so that I've got a longer cord. 2, so that when I'm sitting on using the hedge trimmer and I'm sitting in on its bum, it's not breaking the bloody joiner. And I've also attached one of these metal sheaths from a shower, and it has saved a shit ton of cords from being cut from the hedge trimmer. Okay, next, let's go back into the power things. On all of mine, if you get the old Power Head, the 1400s, I've super glued all of these because they are just a pain in the ass and they're unnecessary. Just be careful that when you are whippersnipping, for example, and you go down and put it next to your leg, you might activate it. First thing I did on this one was pull out that thing. Yep, super glue that, pull that out. It may void warranty, but I honestly don't even think that I've put one of these, well, because that one shit itself after 2 years, I still wouldn't have been covered under warranty, even if it was commercial. So I've still never put one of those in for a warranty claim. And as I said, this one here, it was 2-3 years later that it shit itself and I replaced the gearbox. I just want to show you how much that has been used and abused. Too bad I can't show you all the videos of me of what I've cut through it, but I have. Okay, so in terms of battery use, sorry, I should have said this before. Lowest battery consumptions are the multi-tool on just light trimming, like say a property like mine, you're just doing the edging, whippersnipping while you go. Then you do a bit of hedge trimming. Then a 5 is heaps. But once you start going to blowers and mowers, you're going to start needing lots of batteries. So, and if ever you get a pressure cleaner, that thing sucks through more battery juice than you'll ever imagine. Hence why I just went and bought the 28 amp commercial battery. And now I would love to see, like, holy shit, I wish you could feel how heavy this is. If ever you get the opportunity to go into a shop and pick that sucker up and say, oh, I'm going to go do 5 hours of hedging and I'm going to strap a bag of concrete to my back. Yay, thanks, Ego. That's my power charging station setup. So, and the other thing is, like, I love just coming home. It takes me literally 3 minutes, chuck my batteries on, and away I go. Over trying to refuel jerry cans and so forth. My mower setup. So this is the new one that they've just brought out, the 55 centimeter composite deck. Phenomenal. Amazing. I love everything about it. Thank you so much, Ego, for increasing the speed. Even though it says 5 kilometers, it actually does 6 kilometers like the old school original ones. And so for tall, long-legged people, it is bliss. Once they went to the Select Cut and Select Cut XP, they reduced the speed, and it's like taking a turtle for a walk. It drives me mental. So thank you, Ego, for upgrading the speed on the new one. Of course, the only thing they didn't upgrade was the bloody height deck setting. Here in Australia, where we love our grass nice and short, and the Americans like it longer. So, number 1 is there. I've already got 2 settings in there. 1, 2. Where's the bloody... I'll just show you. So 1 is like, oh, sorry. 1's up there. 1, 2, 3. So by the time you've got 3, let's say that one, I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5, and they've got 3. So I've got an extra 2 notches. And I tell you what, 5 mil between cuts makes a massive difference. It makes so much more quality, especially down in these finer lawns. So on my old school ones, I've got 2 adjusted. And they did bring out a Select Cut. Yeah, that one there. See, you had the finer. See this Ego? You had the nice fine ones, but then you got rid of it. All right, but if you were to start up your business tomorrow, out of every single lawnmower there, that 55 centimeter is worth every penny. Definitely not excited by the 2 Select Cuts. The first ones that they brought out were phenomenal, going from petrol to that, although they just did not have the power. But they were a fantastic machine, and I loved the paddle self-propelled. If they had one of those on each side, oh, that'd be so great. And the speed controller, but they've gone with this setup. But yeah, if you're starting first lawnmower, definitely upgrade to that. Because that's the old XP. That's the next model down, I think. Power-wise and everything, but just slow. Slow, but good. And then, of course, if you want to start buying Ego toys, the vacuum is amazing. Heater's got so much power, it's a shop vac. Pressure cleaner is sensational, but be prepared to have a shit ton of batteries. It'll chew through a shitload of batteries. The light, it's good, awesome. There's a beautiful ornament up there, probably had about half an hour's worth of use. I tried to return it within 15 minutes of buying it. They wouldn't take it because I had used it, and it's a piece of shit. So as you realise, and it doesn't matter what brand telescopic hedger you get, if you put the motor at the end of a hedger, the weight is just ridiculous. So that's my ornament to remind me of how crap it is and what a waste of money. The Ego commercial blower, I gave that to my parents and they don't even use it. I can't remember what other commercial thing I bloody bought. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Like I said, the commercial stuff, no one's been able to prove to me how much better it is. And the Ego blower vac is horrible, would not buy that. Yeah, anyway, hopefully that answers a couple of questions for starting out a business going battery or switching from petrol to battery. Yeah, if there's any more finer details or something that I've forgotten about, let me know, drop me a line, give me a comment, and I'm sorry that I haven't done a demonstration on the new mower yet, just haven't had a chance. All right, thanks for watching, and like, share, and have a beautiful day. See ya.